My fellow Americans.
On April 29th, President Nixon shocked the nation by announcing that he was sending U.S. troops across Vietnam's border into the neutral country of Cambodia.
Tonight, American and South Vietnamese units will attack the headquarters for the entire communist military operation in South Vietnam. This is not an invasion of Cambodia.
Run, 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 but you sure can't hide.
But many saw the move as a betrayal of Nixon's vow to end the war.
Segregation, determination, demonstration, integration, aggravation, humiliation, obligation to my nation.
The graduated plan of withdrawing American ground troops from Vietnam had appeased a lot of people, and folks are saying, well, you know, Nixon's Nixon, but maybe this plan will work. Well, Nixon was Nixon, and Nixon was a liar.
The anti-war movement responded with outrage. Hundreds of normally placid college campuses across Middle America were transformed into arenas of protest. Campuses like Ohio's Kent State University.
When Nixon announced what he called his limited incursion into Cambodia, he lit a fire of a dying anti-war movement at Kent State.
On Saturday, May 2nd, the Reserve Officer Training Corps building at Kent State burned to the ground, following an anti-war demonstration. No one knows for sure who set the blaze, but the next morning, Ohio Governor James Rhodes called in the National Guard.
Law and order was sort of the mantra of the Nixon administration. It was the mantra of Governor Rhodes.
When he came to the campus on the morning of May 3rd, Governor Rhodes made a very powerful, provocative statement. He pounded his fist on the podium and he said, "We're going to eradicate the problem."
When students gathered for an anti-war rally on the Kent State Commons on May 4th, they discovered that their campus was now occupied by a battalion of National Guardsmen. College sophomore Chrissy Hind watched the confrontation take shape.
Everyone was walking across the Commons with their portfolios. It was half-term. And these guys had loaded rifles.
Leave this area immediately.
As soon as the rally started, the National Guard started firing tear gas, and they began marching toward us with their guns, bayonets. They had on helmets, gas masks, and we were attacked at that point by approximately 76 National Guardsmen.
They said their initial mission was to clear the area, to clear the Commons.
As we ran up over the hill, we were looking back over our shoulders and we could see the guardsmen just kept coming. They kept chasing us.
The closest student that ever came to a guardsman was 250 feet, according to the Justice Department report.
After the National Guard dispersed the students with tear gas, the campus showdown appeared to be over. The guardsmen huddled together, then turned and marched to the top of a nearby hill.
They get to the top of the hill. This one group, though, starts to descend the hill, then suddenly all turning around, all at the same time, all in the same direction.
They stopped, they turned, they fired.
Alan Canfor was standing directly in the line of fire. He dove for cover behind a tree.
I felt a bullet enter into my right wrist, and it passed through my arm. My friend Jeff Miller was shot through the face. The bullet entered his cheek. It literally blew the brains out of the back of his head. He was killed instantly. He was maybe 50 feet behind me at Kent State that day.
When the smoke cleared, 4 students lay dead on the Kent State Commons. Sophomore Jeffrey Miller, age 20. Junior Sandra Scheuer, age 20. Freshman William Schroeder, age 19. And 19-year-old freshman Allison Krause.
Allison Krause was the daughter of Arthur and Doris Krause of Pittsburgh. And the Krauses found out about their daughter being killed by watching CBS News that evening.
The day before she was shot, Allison Krause had approached the National Guardsmen patrolling her campus, telling an officer, "Flowers are better than bullets."
She felt that war in Cambodia was wrong. Is this descent a crime? Is this a reason for killing her? Have we come to such a state in this country that a young girl has to be shot because she disagrees deeply with the actions of her government?
As news of the Kent State killings rumbled like shockwaves across the nation, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young recorded a song that seethed with anger and grief. It was called Ohio.
10 soldiers and Nixon coming. We're finally on our own. This summer I hear the drumming. 4 dead in Ohio.
It came from the picture that was the icon of that event, the girl kneeling over the other kid laying on the ground in a pool of blood with a look of, what, how could this have happened on her face? Shock and grief.
What if you knew her and found her dead on the ground?
Crosby came up and he had the magazine with the Kent State killings cover on it. And I'd heard it on the news what had happened, but Crosby always has a way of bringing things into focus.
He saw Neil absorb all this information, pick up his guitar, walk into the woods, come back an hour later, and played him Ohio.
Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young's Ohio was released 2 weeks after the shootings at Kent State.
Jeff Miller, one of the fellows that was killed, he was such a big fan of Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, and I knew that, so that made me happy. I know it sounds corny, but it meant a lot to us.
First time I heard Ohio, I cried. What can you say about it? It told the story better than any musician I ever thought could. And every time that someone talks about Kent State, sings about Kent State, it keeps those 4 students' memory alive.
The killings by National Guardsmen of 4 students at Kent State in May of 1970 shook America to its core, and Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young's Ohio kindled a generation's outrage. But the campus killings didn't end with Kent State. 10 days later, 2 more students were shot dead and 12 were wounded at Mississippi's Jackson State College when police broke up a protest rally by spraying hundreds of bullets into a crowd.
It really came close to tearing the entire country apart. It scared a lot of people. It also hardened other people to say, all right, we're probably not coming out of this.